And I wrote that down too for my group, that was something that they were they weren't doing.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still the one that has to jump in and ask those questions. So, I don't know, maybe doing like a mini lesson to, you know, how do you ask good questions that are not just yes/no questions, to get them to think deeper, to make more connections, that sort of thing.
Did they respond, I guess, instead of just giving a summary, so they were actually then responding to each other?
Yes.
Because, they said, I want to piggyback off of, I'd like to add on to. Okay, so that's good. If we could just then get them actually thinking about, like you said, those deeper questioning skills.
And I still think there's definitely room for growth for those conversational moves. I mean, you know, maybe one would share a reaction and then the other one would say, yeah, me too. But, you know, they could still go deeper and, I agree with you, Holly. I was thinking this, and I don't know. I'd like to see more of the conversational moves too.
And maybe that's something, I know we talked about modeling, and we have by commenting back to them or replying back to them on Schoology with those conversational moves, but maybe that's an area too for asking questions. Maybe we could start asking more questions too, or to each other on Schoology, modeling that for the asking questions.
And because even when I ask the questions to start Schoology, but then I do respond to them to model the conversational moves by, you know, saying, oh, I agree with you, Jackson, but maybe that's what I need to do too, like you're saying, is asking them a question back. So when I respond to them, starting to model that, how can you respond to a question and answer another question that digs deeper, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So yeah, maybe we need to do some modeling of that so that they know what that looks like.
So their discussion, they definitely have made progress on.
For sure.
Should we look at now their Schoology discussion? So the question was, why does Jess keep ignoring all of Leslie's attempts to be friendly? Use evidence from the text to support your thinking. Okay. So the student said maybe he's scared of being friends with her because she beat him in the heat. So what do you think? Do you think that would be, we can just mark it on your rubric, I guess, something to
I would say it's his reaction to the text.
personal reaction.
Yep. Okay, then Jackson.
I have been where I try to ask a person, but they shut me down.
Sorry, because I had added to the question, can you make a connection?
Oh, I didn't read the rest of it
at all.
Okay, yes.
So he was making a connection that
Okay.
he's tried to make a friend, but then they kept shutting him down.
Okay.
So I would say that's a reaction because he's making a connection to it.
And he said, I agree with you, Jackson, because that is exactly what happened to me. So he used a conversational move with the agree, which we've noticed that the I agree with you is coming pretty easily for them, so we kind of have to maybe start having them look at the bookmark or, like we said, model some other moves.
Well, and even that's what I was talking to them about at the end of our discussion is that now I want you to take that one step further. So, okay, you're saying I agree with you, but now could Nathan have gone into detail or, you know, could he have elaborated on what his example was or what his connection was rather than just one sentence?
I think it is because Leslie beat him in the race. He is not talking to her because he is mad at her. I can make a connection with this because sometimes I get ignored. So she's definitely sharing a personal reaction, personal connection. tried to become friends with someone who is ignoring me. After a while, I stopped and thought, why am I trying to become friends with this girl if all she does is ignore me? So,
I would say
Yeah.
that's a personal reaction too. And another, we can skip those are me.
You don't want to share yours?
It was just me
Yeah.
trying to,
But that's good
Model
because that's
another
where,
way.
like we talked about, that's where we're going to do a lot of the modeling for Schoology, for the conversational moves and spurring that deeper
Mhm.
conversation.
right.
Okay.
So I think we could give all of them a point for being a good digital
Mhm.
citizen.
And then still, we're left with the column of asking questions that has no tallies in it
Mm-hmm.
for both the face-to-face and the Schoology. So like we said before, that's one area that we're,
Right. Should we look at one more question?
Sure.
I guess, let's go back to question 1. I feel like sometimes they add text evidence, I'm just
it
gonna
depends
see
on the
if I'm-
question.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're right
Sorry,
in the
so-
one. Okay.
Yep, number 1.
Based on the scene described on page 19, what kind of personality might you infer that Leslie has? Use evidence from the text to support your answer.
Okay, so Nathan's, it's just a simple reaction, would you say?
I think she is kind and she has a ton of courage. Yeah. Personal. I think that Leslie lives on a farm because farmers wear jeans. Okay. Maybe he has a background knowledge or personal connection. I think she has courage.
So like that,
Okay, so he still is sharing. But
I don't think he would get another point for that though, 'cause he's,
yeah, I agree.
But then here, he does make a conversational move, I gave Nathan.
Because she has a lot of friends. Jaden, on page 19 in the second paragraph, it says that she is not afraid to stand up in front of the class. I think she has to be brave, has a brave heart to stand in front of her class by herself. So she's
using text evidence.
She's not afraid to stand in front of the class and talk. She said, okay, friends, here I am. I can infer that she is not afraid to talk in front of the class because she said that I cannot imagine that if she was in my class, every day she would walk in and say something like that.
So I would say, even though, she's quoting the text,
Yes.
so I would say we can give her a point for text evidence.
And then a personality that doesn't care what other people think.
Just a personal reaction. Okay. So still, we don't have any,
For the asking
Asking
questions. Okay, so that's our proof, I guess, that we need
That's
to
what we
have.
need to work
Yeah. For that group. Okay,
do you wanna go
let's
to the other
go
group?
back. Sure, they were just working on their posts. So as far as Number the Stars group, they're, like I said, they are still really good at giving a summary of the book, like we talked about. They're excited about the book for chapter 1, but just still using those conversational moves and responding to each other. They were all sharing their personal reaction to the text. Like I said, they were all very excited about it, but still not asking questions to spur deeper conversation. They were all using slant. They knew, they have that down, so that's good. And then they were using text evidence, but I still feel like I have to be the one to say, open up your book, let's look at this together, where I know this group has gotten much better at just doing that and saying, I found this on page 19 where they're just trying to share information and the rest of the group might not even know what page they're on and they're just reading something. So that's definitely, like we talked about, just how they interact with each other, working on that, and building that, but definitely still, Amelia did have one question. She asked, why are you stuck in the middle? Because Keely said, I'm kind of still, she was answering my question saying, I'm still stuck in the middle. She wasn't sure kind of how she felt, and then Amelia did respond to her saying, why are you stuck in the middle? So I thought that was good. So they've definitely improved, because before, looking at the beginning rubrics, oh, let's see, I brought mine, I have them right in here. This was the bridge to Terabithia for, okay, so like, yeah, he had one, and now he has 3 tallies, so Amelia had 2, and then, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which was the goal, the starting goal, I guess. So, and yeah, Landon had 1, and he's definitely opening up more. He had 3, and Keely 3. And like I said, I feel like I could have given them more tallies, but we're not just marking tallies for every time they say something. And
Right.
which we talked to them about. They have to be beneficial comments and spur deeper conversations. So I guess if we look at their, so far what they might have.
Do you want to look at the number of the stars, or have they responded?
They should have.
They do. Yeah. Everyone but Amelia, I guess.
Okay. So I'll pull this question up for everyone. And so Jack, I think they're reading an illegal newspaper because they want to know what is happening outside and tell him what is happening outside the country. And I do think the parents know,
No.
the children do not.
So just
Okay.
a personal reaction. And then he added, and I think the parents would be killed if they got caught reading the paper, but I think just the
Still
one point,
probably a
just an
personal,
add-on.
yeah. Keely, I think if they do get caught doing that, they get shot and killed by the Nazis, or they might get sent to jail by the Nazis. Anne-Marie acts like it's no big deal if the soldiers stop them at the corner of each block. All she cares is that they don't get killed or her best friend. I think she meant to put the page number, because she has Ellen gets killed. I don't know what she meant by that. I think that Anne-Marie's parents and Ellen's parents keep reading it because it delivers them good news about what the Nazis are doing to them, and they know that they won't get caught because they burn it every time.
It brings them good news.
Yeah. So let's see what they responded with, because maybe, you know what, she was sitting down right before discussion and wanted to finish this, so I wonder if she was trying to finish it so quick that,
She meant to.
yeah, she made a comment down here too, so we can go back to that one maybe. Okay, so still personal reaction, do you think?
Yep.
So still
It's
not
like
using that
He's
text.
getting
I know.
there, but I mean, because he wouldn't know that if he hadn't read it.
But what proves that?
Right.
So I guess that's kind of the next point we need to make
Like their personal reactions are even getting
better, much better.
but it's
yeah.
still not proving you're using evidence from the text.
I think they would get killed if they were caught reading it, and Marie probably doesn't know that the Nazis are bad.
So just a personal reaction.
I agree with you, Jack. I think that they are still getting spectacular. I think she means because they're happy to be getting news at all. So I think that's what she means by that, because we talked about it being in a legal newspaper. What's in the newspaper though, they did talk about bombing,
So yeah, I guess I'm
so,
confused
but
why
maybe
she's
that's
saying that it's
something
good
that she,
news.
yeah. But getting the
Talk to her
news
about
very secretly, so that's something that we need to, I guess, clarify, because she's not understanding that it's not good news that
And
they're
that,
getting.
right, and that the reason that they're reading it is to just be in the know of what's going on.
Exactly.
But yeah, she must think that they want to read it because it
Yeah.
brings them happiness.
And so I also agree with you when you said that they might get killed, but why would that be the answer? I might just punish them by taking away some of their most valuable, precious things. I'm not saying they should take their kids away. I wouldn't even send them to jail. I might even, and this is probably the hardest I would treat them, make them work a little bit harder to make more money for the city.
Okay, so,
So still, either way, it's her personal reaction.
and then she does get a point for conversational moves.
Yes. Because she's responding. Okay.
So then Jack, but why would you even punish them? Because, right, Jack's saying they're not doing anything wrong, they're just walking on the street, so I would say,
He responds. Well, which one would
or
you?
would you say it's asking the question just because
Just
now he's
for-
like, explain more, why should they even be
He's
punished,
not-
they're not doing
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah, I agree.
But they don't want them to tell other people. I don't know that Raymond should get a point for that at all,
Yeah.
it's not,
It doesn't really fit with the. Okay,
yeah,
so
I would say they could all get a point for
Mhm.
being a good digital citizen.
much better than before. Okay, so they're still each time improving. Because this was their first and their first couple, which had little tallies on. So
Very few.
yeah. So they still are improving, but like you said, we still obviously have to, and I maybe just needed to make clear that Keely understood the legal newspaper because that did come up, but like I said, they're just giving summaries and throwing in random thoughts here and there, so that's something that I'll just have to lead, and or if we do it together or however we decide, we'll make sure that she understands. Okay, so our next moves, like we said, to
With the questioning.
And are you thinking this is something that we should do just in the individual groups then, still? Like, take time and stop with the discussion?
I mean, if I think it
Do-
could work either way. I think in the smaller group it maybe is better. Just kind of do like, I don't know, mini lesson on, just on good questioning. Like we always call them fat and skinny questions. So that way, you know, a skinny question is just a one or two word answer or yes or no question. And then the fat questions require them to explain their thinking more.
So, is this something that you want us both to model, or you model, I model, we model with each other, asking and answering questions? What do you think?
Do you want to do that? Do you want to do it together? I think that would be, because it's one thing to teach them and just give them examples, but if we actually like model the little discussion then,
like with the book
yeah.
or?
So we could first
Okay.
start out by asking just skinny questions, so that, like, if you ask me those questions, I could just respond with a, yeah,
Yes.
I agree, or just really basic answers, but then we could show them the difference and by asking like deeper questions that then spur more conversation, and then talk about the difference. Yep, I think that would be good. Good idea.
What was your idea?
Well, I thought you kind of looked into it. It was our idea.
Okay, so for both groups, do you think? I think it
Yeah, I
would be
think they both
beneficial.
need it.
Okay, so we can kind of come up with a few questions just based on, maybe we can even go back and forth kind of through Schoology like we've been doing, just looking through some of their responses and some of the past questions we've
Yeah.
asked, or thinking ahead to the next chapter and just kind of
Mm-hmm.
brainstorm our lists of fat and skinny questions.
Yeah, I think if we modeled it both verbally
Yeah.
and on Schoology, that would be good, so that way they can see it goes in both places, that they need to do it in both.
Okay. So tomorrow, I think we'll probably need more time, obviously, to look at the questions. So, are you doing groups tomorrow, or is, well, they just met today, so tomorrow's probably Schoology and responding.
Groups.
So maybe we could shoot for Monday with the modeling of
Yeah.
the fat and skinny
Yeah,
questions.
that works.
Okay. Still at like the 9:35.
That would be great.
Okay.
We might have to do one group one day and the other group the next,
Yeah.
since we won't really have till
Mhm.
10 o'clock. Okay, so let's do,
That way
doesn't
we're
matter.
not cutting them short either, and we
Right.
can really, okay.
So we'll
one
just do
on
one on Monday
one
and the
on-
other one on Tuesday.
Okay. Do you have a preference which one we do first? And that way, if we would talk Monday even after school, we could even form some questions for too.
Did you tell your group to read the next chapter?
No, I haven't yet, cause I still
I'll
feel
tell
like
them
we
to.
have to dig
Um,
deeper.
Let's do that group on Monday then.
Okay.
And then we'll do this group on Tuesday.
Okay, so Monday we'll do Number the Stars.
Yep.
Tuesday. Bridge.
Do you, like, so, as far as coming up with questions, do you want, how should we do that?
Like one focuses on on one book or the other, or fat and skinny, or what would you prefer?
I'm open to whatever. It's maybe easier to just focus on one book though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you wanna stick with the Number of the Stars?
Sure.
So we'll do fat and skinny questions,
Okay.
and then just
Yep.
model, okay.
Maybe if
sounds
we just
good.
come up with like 5 from each
Sure.
to start with.
Yep.
Or like 5 fat, 5 skinny.
Oh, that's a lot. I don't
That
think,
is,
I don't
you're
think we'll
right.
get through all those, do you?
We won't, not in-
Okay. Maybe let's do 2 skinny, 3 fat. Sounds funny.
2 skinny, 3 fat. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good.